channels and switching, and then there's people like you that are just like,
oh
you
my
can't
God,
see
dude,
what's
you are
going
such
on
an
around
idiot.
you. Either
You are
can't
such
see
a
or
dumbass,
you don't want to
man.
see, or
It's just
you just can't understand.
Just you have no idea what
reality
it is
has
you're
been
even
altered.
talking about.
You
Man.
must
It's
be
all
like a
just
new
all
earth
this memory.
or
It's all like a big,
whatever the case is.
It's a
with
big,
you. I don't
like,
even know, but
psychological
I'm
trick.
sending.
You know what I'm
I'm just
saying?
gonna leave you here
Obviously,
because
you have no idea what the hell you're even. Oh my
I've
God!
had it with
Please
this
just stop
this
talking.
reality here. My
I
resonance
don't want to
is
hear
gonna be
it
higher than yours,
You're,
and I'm just gonna
you're an idiot.
launch off and
You
escape.
just can't
and
see
people like you
that you're just remembering
Why?
things
Because
wrong. I mean, the rest
like
of
your
the
world's
world
not ready.
understands what the
You
hell
want
you're
to cling
talking
here
about.
to this world.
So, like, I don't understand.
I want to move
what the
on
hell
to something
your
else.
issue
I want to
is.
move
Like,
on
you're
to
acting
something
like I'm the
better
one who's
than
blind, and
you know, I don't need.
I can't see
negativity,
things
I don't
changing
need
in life,
doubters, I
but
don't
apparently
need
you
haters
can
like
because
you.
you're one of the chosen
Just
ones. It's
pretty much everything
stupid
you're saying
man.
is just basically.
You know what? I can't even handle
Okay,
it anymore.
I'm
you.
done.
I'm done.
Hey there, it's Sean here, also known as Bits of Real Panther. How are you doing today? Good. I would like to welcome you to my channel and to this presentation of the Mandela Effect, a preliminary overview. You are hereby officially invited to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And if you enjoy this video, now, at the end, or anywhere in between, go ahead and manipulate that big thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And lastly, feel free to share your feedback below. I ask only that you keep your comments civil toward both myself and the other commenters. Thank you very much. Okay, the Mandela Effect. A very strange, very omnipresent, and apparently highly polemic issue. If you're not familiar with it, the Mandela Effect takes its name from the South African civil rights activist Nelson Mandela. The effect stems from a group of people back in 2010 who realized that they all shared a memory of Nelson Mandela passing away while incarcerated in the 1980s, when in fact he did not actually decease until 2013. Now, since then, the effect has kind of grown to encompass all of those situations where people's memories do not match reality itself. In fact, to put the effect succinctly, and in some cases to clarify the effect, the Mandela Effect, or a Mandela Effect, is any situation wherein a group of people share a memory inconsistent with current reality. Plain and simple, A to Z. That is the Mandela Effect. You will note here that I mentioned nothing about confabulation, divine intervention, quantum pollution, time travel, the Large Hadron Collider, merging realities, the power of suggestion, mass hysteria, or anything else. Those things are the speculative, hypothetical causes. They are not the effect itself. They are two separate entities. Those things are the hypothetical causes of the Mandela Effect. So anyone making the claim that the Mandela Effect is BS, a lie, a hoax, false, 100% debunked, or anything else of that nature, those people are conflating those hypothetical causes with the effect itself. They are not the same thing. The Mandela Effect is very common and easily provable. For example, if you have seen the movie E.T., ask yourself, what is the most famous line in that movie? Okay, watch here. This is the scene in question.
E.T. home phone.
Okay, if you share my memory that the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone, then welcome to the Mandela Effect. Anyone making the claim that the effect is not real, please refer to that clip for Exhibit A. Now, why does this happen? Why do we retain memories incongruent with current reality? Well, I have found in my research that exploring possible causes of the effect is very much navigating turbulent waters. There are so many people out there with so many beliefs, and those people very often become belligerent when those beliefs are challenged, regardless of the facts or the logic involved. Now, when it comes to these opinions, there are essentially two camps, or I guess more accurately, two warring factions. There is what I would like to call the rational approach theorists, and there is what I would like to call the creative approach theorists. Now, the rational approach theorists believe that reality is fixed and memory is malleable, whereas the creative approach theorists believe that memory is fixed and reality is malleable. Now, each of these groups has within its mental archetypes some points that I would like to address here in turn. However, my biggest irk is with the community as a whole. There is absolutely no reason for all the hostility and vitriol within the exchange of ideas surrounding this phenomenon. I have seen countless times hateful comments, just toxic things going on when people are exchanging ideas around this effect. There is nothing productive to be gained from all the nastiness. Nothing is solved, nothing is resolved. It is simply a wasteful expenditure of spiritual energy. So if you're one of the people participating in this kind of behavior, please stop. That would be awesome. With that off my chest, I would like to address some of the other issues of this effect, starting with a few points in the rational approach theorist mentality. The first of these being the one-size-fits-all blind application of Occam's razor. If you are unfamiliar with it, Occam's razor is the principle that states the simplest solution is usually the best one, and that is fundamentally true. However, Occam's razor is a generalization yielded from a series of specifics. You can apply specifics to a generalization. You cannot apply a generalization towards specifics. For example, the majority of NASCAR fans are Caucasian. That is a generalization. Bob is a NASCAR fan. That is a specific. Which ethnicity is Bob? Well, statistically speaking, he is probably Caucasian, but just because that is the simplest solution, that does not mean that he is necessarily Caucasian. So anyone making the claim that because psychological trickery is the simplest explanation for the Mandela effect, therefore it must be the correct one, those people are simply playing the smart money. They are not explaining anything definitively. My second grievance with the rational approach theorists is their indulgence in the what I like to call fact or fiction fallacy, based on the 2010-ish television series Fact or Fakes Paranormal Files. Now, in that show, the viewers would submit photographs or video footage or audio recordings of all things paranormal, Loch Ness Monster, haunted houses, those sorts of things. Upon receiving this material, for this example, we'll say a video recording of a flying saucer, the cast of the show would analyze that footage and then attempt to recreate it artificially. If they were able to successfully fabricate a recording that looked like the original, they would reason then that the original was produced through the same means and is therefore a fake. Now, the problem with this logic is that it hinges on the belief that an effect has one and only one cause, when in truth this is very, very rarely the case. You might have a headache because you haven't had your coffee this morning. I might have a headache because I have a hangover. It would be erroneous of me to assume that you have a hangover just because you have a headache. So when these rational approach theorists cite these examples wherein people are psychologically manipulated into seeing things that they would not normally see, or believing things that they would not normally believe, or having memories of things that never actually happened, these people are putting forth only a possible cause, albeit a very viable one, a possible cause of the Mandela effect. They are not putting forth the cause to the exclusion of all other causes, and therefore those other causes linger or persist as possible explanations. My third qualm with the rational approach theorists is their constant efforts to use historical facts, figures, and other information to refute the memories of those influenced by the Mandela effect. In truth, and in terms of the Mandela effect itself, the accuracy or the inaccuracy of one's memory is not in question. People who have this effect understand that what they remember does not match how it is. Me, I've always believed Looney Tunes to be spelled with 2 O's, and up until a year ago when I first learned of this effect, I never even thought about it twice. I had no reason to. Now, I am well aware that it is spelled T-U-N-E-S. I understand that. It does me no good for 300 people to provide me information showing that the spelling is Tunes, T-U-N-E-S, and has always been Tunes, T-U-N-E-S. The question, the crux of this whole effect is why? Why do I have this memory, as do so many other people, of things being not the way that they actually are? The fourth and final of my complaints against the rational approach theorists is their belaboring of the fact that memory is fallible. And although it is true that memory is not always perfect, in fact most of the time it is imperfect, in my view there are at least 3 circumstances wherein our power of memory is greatly enhanced. The first of these pertains to that information that we have to use all the time as a necessity of life. Our name, our address, our phone number, things like this. We can recite that information from memory with 100% accuracy. The second circumstance occurs when we are thrust into a situation so earth-shattering, so monumentally mind-blowing that we instinctively, mentally absorb every aspect of that event. Consider the Twin Towers attack. Most people living here in the States anyway, can tell you with specificity where they were, what they were doing, and who they were with when they first learned of these attacks. That event was so intense that focus was greatly enhanced, and thus memory was greatly enhanced. The third of these circumstances happens when we voluntarily shift our ocular perception from seeing to looking. Seeing is automatic. Seeing requires no conscious effort of any kind. Therefore, most of what we see bypasses the conscious mind and enters directly into the subconscious. Looking, by contrast, requires conscious effort. Therefore, most of what we look at, most of what we examine, most of what we focus on enters the conscious mind. From there, it is absorbed by or transferred to memory. The stronger our initial focus, then the stronger will be those memories in terms of both depth and accuracy. Now, to conclude on this point, Although the rational approach theorists would have you believe that memory is fallible, this is not always necessarily the case. And that concludes part 1 of the Mandela Effect, a preliminary overview. Rational approach theorists be damned. I'm just playing. I hope this video wasn't too painful for anybody. In fact, I am looking forward to your feedback. However, and again, I ask only that we keep the spirit here cordial. Thank you so very much. At the end of this video, there should be a link to part 2 of this series if that video is not yet available. Please be patient, it will be coming soon to a theater near you. Actually, it won't be. And also, I have for you today a little bonus treat. Something that was a surprise even to me. While I was editing this video, I discovered in the audio track something very peculiar. There is one point where it sounds like somebody whispering a sentence. Now bear in mind that when I was recording this video, I was the only one home and all of the windows were shut. Is that whispering sound a computer glitch? A trick of the ear? Or something paranormal captured electronically? I am going to black out the screen, loop that audio for you a few times, and let you decide for yourself. That the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone. That the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone. That the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone. Okay, I'm going to play that audio for you one more time. Listen again. To me, it sounds very much like somebody whispering, "There it is." That the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone. That the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone. That the line in that movie was always E.T. phone home rather than E.T. home phone. How about that, Could be nothing, a trick of the ears, but it certainly makes you wonder. Nevertheless, it was fun. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you were so inclined. And lastly, before you run off, we have the word of the video. Today's video word is flossinaucinihilipilification. That's right, flossinaucinihilipilification, meaning the habit, the propensity for estimating something as worthless. Keep your eye on the prize, and I will see you next time.